Hello again and welcome to Supply Chain Management. In this video, the objective is to shed light on inventory positioning, which simply means where inventory should be held. Knowing where to store inventory is as important as determining how much to maintain, as the main activity and distribution strategies differ from a company to another. The inventory positioning and deployment strategy should be relied on. Different customers or product lines may require different supply chains and inventory service requirements. So, in order to know that we must have a storage policy and then identifying the location of inventory along the supply chain, we must compare between the logistics cycle time and the deadline proposed to the client. The logistics cycle time is defined as the time period between the expression of the need for an order, its recognition by the supplier, and the effective receipt of that order by the final consumer. This includes all the supply chain stages from procurement, storage, manufacturing, distribution, and delivery to the final consumer. Through the comparison between the logistics cycle time and the lead time proposed to the client, we may have three diagrams to represent the inventory positioning in the supply chain. The first diagram is where deadline is superior to logistics cycle time. Well, in this case, there is no need for storage, for all flows are pulled by orders. This is where a company proceeds on demand. This diagram applies in the aeronautics industry, public works, and shipyard. The second diagram is where the deadline is lesser than logistics cycle time but superior to the distribution time. In this situation, where part of the flows are pulled by orders and the other part is pushed by forecasting, in order to ensure a relevant interface between the real orders and those which are generated by forecasting, there is necessarily a safety stock. The level of this safety stock is defined regarding the quality of forecasting and service level. Automotive, textile, electronic industries are matching this chart. The third case is when deadline is less than the distribution time. In this figure, the existence of stock is imperative. It might be located at a local or regional level with the purpose of shrinking delivery times. All procurement and manufacturing stages are driven by forecasting. Only the final delivery to the client is triggered on demand. This is a diagram which is adopted by large companies that operate in retail sector to be able to supply the supermarket in a time limit of 1 day maximum, or in e-commerce where the delivery time is usually limited to half a day. The suppliers of original equipment manufacturer are also concerned by this chart when it comes to just-in-sequence deliveries, aiming to provide parts in tandem with the assembly process in a matter of hours by replenishing advanced stocks nearby the original equipment manufacturer. So, as we have seen, the existence and location of inventory is important. With the rare exception where the deadline exceeds the logistics cycle time, having enough inventory that matches the flows and the type of activity is very crucial. In addition of playing a role of a buffer between pushed flows generated by real demand and pulled flows induced from forecasting, inventory plays also a role of desynchronizing rhythms along the supply chain. In fact, if the downstream flows, such as distribution toward the clients, are performed on a daily basis, the upstream flows should not be disturbed as production schedule, for example, runs on a weekly basis. The same applies in supplies as they usually operate on a monthly basis, for instance. Therefore, inventory is also a key element to uncouple different rhythms within the supply chain. In our next video, we are going to see what the costs that are included when handling inventory and what is the economical order quantity. Thank you and see you then.